In ninth grade, our class took a weekend retreat to a forested camp an hour outside of town. It was one of those bonding trips. Hiking, campfires, trust falls. On the second night, a group of us snuck out after lights out. Just dumb kids trying to find something exciting. One of the counselors had warned us not to go too deep into the woods, said there was an old hunting cabin out there and it wasn't safe. We found it, broken windows, faded paint looked like it hadn't been touched in decades. Inside, it was cold, freezing, which didn't make sense. Outside, it was still summer warm. There were carvings all over the walls, names, dates, and one line repeated again and again. Don't follow the whispers. Then we heard them. Soft, male, female, laughing, whispering, coming from all around. We bolted. But Kyle, he didn't run. Just stood there, staring into the darkness outside the cabin door. We had to drag him back. He didn't speak the rest of the trip. And here's the thing, later we looked at the wall photos back at school, pictures from that night. In one, taken just before we found the cabin, there's something in the background. A figure, tall, thin, almost blending into the trees. We never figured out what it was, but Kyle still wakes up screaming. It was a 5th grade day trip to an agricultural museum and farm. I remember being excited about feeding goats and riding the hay wagon, typical kid stuff. Toward the end of the tour, we were allowed to roam in small groups around the cornfields while our teachers prepped lunch nearby. My friend Mia and I wandered a little too far. That's when we saw him. A man in tattered clothes just standing in the middle of the corn rows, not moving, his head tilted slightly to the side, watching us. We laughed at first, thought it was a scarecrow. Then he raised his hand and waved. It wasn't friendly, it was slow, mechanical. We turned and started walking away, but the rustling behind us made us run. When we made it back to the group, we told the chaperone. He got pale, said that part of the field was off limits, had been for years. After lunch, we all boarded the bus, but as it pulled away, I looked back. The man was standing at the edge of the field now, still waving. Our high school trip to the City History Museum was supposed to be boring, but a janitor told one of my friends about an old sealed-off tunnel in the basement. Naturally, we dared each other to go. We slipped away from our group and found the door. It wasn't even locked. The tunnel was cold, damp, barely lit by our phones. About 50 feet in, we heard footsteps ahead. We whispered, calling out to see if it was another group. No answer. Then the lights on our phones began flickering. We heard a sound, like metal scraping on stone. Closer, closer. We ran, but as we turned back, my friend Sam fell. His scream was drowned out by the slamming of the door. We beat on it for what felt like hours. When a guard finally opened it, we were alone. No sign of Sam. They never found him. The museum said the tunnel was never supposed to be accessible, but our phones still have the video we took. The last frame, Sam looking behind him, mouth open in terror, and something dark reaching out of the shadows. They say field trips are for learning and discovery, but sometimes the lessons are darker than textbooks could ever teach. Stay close to the group, trust your instincts, and never follow the whispers. If these stories gave you chills, make sure to subscribe for more real horror from the shadows of everyday life. Until next time, keep your eyes open, because you never know what's just behind the next turn on the trail.